Hi, Bob. As you know, we've got the honour of taking part in the very first Allica Bank Brokercast. Looking to film a number of these. Hopefully, they'll be of benefit to our broker partners across the UK. As you know, we entered the SME lending market with a commercial lending proposition based on the clarity of our lending products, the consistency of the delivery of those products, but also with a real desire to collaborate with our broker partners every step of the way. So that's why we thought it'd be great to kick these off with you, Bob, as Allica Bank's head of underwriting. And really what we want to do is understand from your perspective, based on your experience and your time with Allica, how our broker partners and also your underwriting team can really best work together to achieve the right decisions swiftly for our broker partners and their customers. So first of all, to kick off, can you tell us quickly about your role at Allica Bank?
Yes, hi Nick, and honoured to be the first one to be on your Brokercast with you. Yes, well, I have 6 underwriters in the team. I've recruited them all. We have a great diversity in the team too, so it's 50% male, 50% female, and a very wide age range within that, me being at the top end, of course. So they've all come from different backgrounds. So some have come to us from other challenger banks, a couple from a peer-to-peer lender, and there are a couple that, you know, in the past, including myself, we did have a big bank background, but most of them have done something else since that, before they've come into Allica. And they're all very well-rounded, in my view, yeah.
What do you think that diverse background of where the underwriting team have been previously in their careers, how do you think that comes together to give a benefit to what we're doing at the bank?
Well, I think some of them, including myself, have also been on the front line as relationship managers. So, you know, we know what it's like trying to source lending, not probably so much with the broker involvement that we have now, but there's an empathy with the people in the front line liaising with the brokers as well, your team, in trying to get what we all want, which is lending on the books as a new bank in the market, and, you know, to make our presence felt and provide a great service to the brokers and to the customers. And I think the background that they all have, diverse as it is, helps with that.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So from your perspective, Bob, you know, in the current market with all the challenges that brings, what does the ideal broker-underwriter relationship look like to you?
Well, I think it has to be one of complete openness. So we're completely open about what our policy and appetite is. We're not completely strung up by it. So we will look at stuff that's outside of our appetite if everything else about that proposition, you know, is very strong. So my mantra with my team is when we get an application in, let's look to find ways we can do it. It's easy to find 6 reasons not to do it, but that's not what we're about. We're about trying to see if there's a way we can do something for this customer through the broker. And obviously, sometimes we can't. But quite often we might be able, if it doesn't quite fit, we might be able to restructure it some way, or maybe go back with just a slightly different offer from the one that they asked for. But the big thing about the relationship working is both sides being completely open and honest and providing all information that's relevant and will help us get to a decision.
I know one of the things we really focused in on during the build of the bank and since we've launched is brokers having direct access to the underwriting team. How do you think that helps us currently, and how does that help your team get deals done?
Well, that helps enormously because we all want to turn things around quickly. And, you know, if there's a lot of detail that we need, it'll be probably done in an email. But if there's just a couple of points we need clarification on, then I encourage the underwriters, and they do, to pick up the phone, speak to the broker and ask them. And we might be able to just sort it out there and then. So, yeah, the direct access thing, I think, is very important. And we always keep the relationship manager up to date with what's going on as well when we contact the brokers. But, yeah, so there is access to us for the brokers.
Yeah, I think it's important there's no ivory tower mentality as well, isn't it? We're all there to fundamentally try and get the same thing done, which is to get that broker supported and get that SME funded. You touched on something there around supporting information. Obviously we need a sensible amount of supporting information to get to the bottom of a transaction. I think also what we're seeing at the moment is that the words are as important as the numbers very often. So what's the story behind the deal? But in terms of the words behind a transaction and the numbers behind it, are there a number of key things that you and the team regularly have to go back and request? What patterns are you seeing in terms of deal submissions?
The one thing that would help enormously with all submissions is a broker summary of the deal. Something that just tells us what is the deal, what's the structure. For example, is it an opco, propco? Are they looking for interest only? Or if they need perhaps a capital repayment holiday, we offer that, but it'd be great to know why they want it, just to fill in the gaps. Also a background of the borrowers, the directors, a bit about the property. It doesn't have to be lengthy, it can just be on one page, and that often saves a lot of questions. But typically the information, particularly in the current environment, that we really want is up-to-date financial information. There's no point really in just giving us stale financial audits. We need up-to-date MI, particularly in the current environment, because we all know that both COVID and to some extent Brexit will have changed the way some businesses work and may have had, in some cases, a positive effect, but in some cases a detrimental effect. So we need to know, what can this business afford? There's no point in us lending them an amount that is not affordable. It's not in their interests. It's not in our interests. So up-to-date financial information and MI is probably the thing that we go back for most, I think, at the moment.
So a couple of things to touch on there. You mentioned COVID. What messages do you share with the team around assessing businesses for new lending in this environment, given the wide range of impacts that's caused on the market?
Well, first of all, what we don't do is say we're not going to lend if a business has taken out, a bounce back loan or a CBILS. They're there, they're available. Why not use them? We will take them into account on affordability. We have to, but we don't count it as a negative. In terms of COVID, we kind of want to know that what's happened to their business because of COVID, what do they think is going to be the situation in the future. Now, of course, nobody knows how long lockdown is going to last, or if indeed there'll be another lockdown. But we try where we can to suggest that we'd like to see some other form of liquidity backup in case there is a prolonged period. And it may be that a take-up of Bibbles loan has provided them with that liquidity in the background. So, we can see, well, they can probably afford to repay this loan for the next 12 months, literally if there was no income. Right, that's an extreme example. But we're sympathetic to the environment that all businesses are working in at the moment.
So why would you say some lenders have taken the approach that if a CBILS or a bounce back's been taken, then it's an automatic no? I still struggle to get my head around that.
That's a hard one to answer. We know a lot of the bigger banks have got back books that they're looking after, and they're looking for reasons not to expand their current lending book. And I'm not sure that's why some of them are saying, look, if you've taken one of these out, we're not really interested. And in fact, I'm pretty sure government guidance to financial institutions is you should not take a negative view of businesses that have taken out the help that's available to them. So,
which is the key to what we're doing, which is understanding the bigger picture. That's what it sounds like. Okay, so just to sort of finish up, any other advice you'd give to brokers to get that swift, fully credit-backed decision?
I would say the opposite of less is more, is what I would say. Give us all the information you've got. If you think this little bit of information you've got will make a difference to us making a decision, let us have it. Let's all try and avoid the need for us to come back for more information. Now, we're never going to reach utopia of 100% of applications never need any further information, but give us everything you've got. Don't hold anything back, is what I would say.
It's good to share, Bob. That's what we're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us, Bob.
Okay, my pleasure.